This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of February 5th, 2024. Pluto in Aquarius is with us, and how? And this week, our minds play catch-up and get on board with the changes. If it hasn't been clear to you what this planetary shift might mean in your own life or in the world at large, the hints start to become unmistakable now. Watch for the change in your thinking, the intensifying, the deepening. Watch for unbelievable revelations to surface from the depths of your psyche and in the media. All kinds of news about realignment of power and about games that have been played behind our backs or outside of our field of vision, and now becoming more and more and more evident. Two big events happen in the sign of Aquarius this week, and one of them directly contacts the transformative powers of Pluto. Mercury moves into Aquarius on Monday, on the 5th. This speeds up the flow of information, brings a marked intellectual, detached observer streak to everything. Big emphasis on technology and where things are going with that. Lots of communication. Mercury, the messenger god, does well in air signs. And this one has him soaring into the stratosphere, giving us a very, very elevated view. Not elevated in terms of I'm better than you, although there's that streak in Aquarius, but more in terms of looking down on things and seeing them from a distance, seeing them with the bigger picture in mind and with more of a sense of where stuff is heading. As soon as Mercury changes signs, he fuses with Pluto on the same day, with a tiny discomfort beforehand, a tiny warning signal that something isn't quite right in relationships and adjustments will be needed. Those probably will not come until late in the month. But for right now, Mercury meets with Pluto on the 5th and is the first of 3 interplanet meetings with the great transformer this month. Mercury and then Mars on Valentine's Day and then Venus on the 17th. We have not experienced this in our lifetimes. We have not had inner planets conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And this is going to shift. This is going to transform our perspectives, possibly tear down some ways of thinking and install new ones, strip ideas away, bring incredibly monumental, profound candor, truth into our realizations, into our minds, into the words coming out of our mouths. There is a ruthless and cold efficiency to this, not emotional content. The impact may be emotional, but the delivery will not be. And this change in information is going to play into the Aquarius new moon, which is happening on the 9th and is the first new moon in Aquarius that we have experienced with Pluto in the sign, although the moon is 2/3 of the way to the end of the sign and Pluto is just at the beginning. Still, we're going to feel it. But miles to go before we sleep. There are other developments that will take us into the new moon. The first is an opportunity to stabilize something in a big, big way. It could be an offer of a business deal, an offer involving money, an opening to take some control, exercise some dominion over an area of your life, as Jupiter and Saturn make the opportunity aspect of a sextile close enough to count on February 6th. This is a grounding cord. Whatever you see dangling in front of you, whatever window or opening you sense, it is probably to your benefit to take it. And it may have some kind of resonance with a similar chord or opportunity or opening that dangled in June of last year. Good fortune and breakthroughs come on the 7th, and not necessarily in a painful way, because Mars, planet of push, is in an opportunity aspect with Neptune. This could be soft. This could be divinely guided. This could have a compassionate streak to it. But Venus, the ruler of everything we value, is in an open flow with quick change artist Uranus. And this brings breaks of all kinds: breakups, breakthroughs, breakouts, sudden movement in relationships, sudden movement in a project, in a financial deal, in something that you have been working on for a long time, in something that you would like to have in your life for a long time. And there could be a massive fruit basket upset tone to our social interactions. Highly exciting, changing a lot of things, and a push in all this, a common denominator in all this, is that we must change to match the changing conditions, and the conditions in our lives must change to match what we are becoming or what we are now allowing to come out of ourselves. There's an imperative not to hold back, not to live small, not to wear somebody else's mask. Oscar Wilde's statement, "Be yourself, everybody else is already taken," still holds true. The sun is squaring Uranus on the 8th. And these two contacts to Uranus, Venus is on the 7th and the sun's on the 8th, pretty much ensure prison breaks of many, many kinds. So if there's something that you have been stuck in, this is your moment for the cage to fly open, and unlikely that you will stay in it with an open door. All of this excitement takes us to the Aquarius new moon on the 9th, which is itself square Uranus, square its ruler. This is a demand for action. Whatever we are now planting, seeding, intending, nurturing for the next phase of our lives must be different, must be the road we have not yet taken, must be innovative for us. You know how every year it's so easy when you make resolutions to have the same 10 or 12 things at the top of the list that you've been carrying forward every year. And sometimes when you're setting new moon intentions, it's always the same issues, the same desires coming up and coming up and coming up. Something very different is flowing in with what is on tap this year. It's almost as if an unseen force in you is preventing you from writing out or typing out or even thinking in your mind the same old that you've been doing. So be daring. You really have no choice. And the communication flow goes wild in the aftermath of this new moon. We're running around telling everybody what we've decided to set in place. We're imagining bigger and bigger and bigger possibilities. We're thinking of more and more and more that we can do. We're getting more and more and more information, particularly about resources and financial implications and practical implications, and wanting more, not just pie in the sky ideas, but wanting and looking for and looking in terms of things actually materializing in the physical plane when Mercury squares Jupiter on the 10th. Highly active week. We are seeding the future. Pay attention to how your thinking changes. Pay attention to the shifts in your mindset, in your perspective, in the sorts of things you are actually voicing to people, and of how much more of yourself you are now showing the world. Homing thought of the week, focus. Song of the week, The New World from the musical Songs for a New World. And the image of the week, well, there are a couple. A virtual reality headset, the Fool from the Tarot, and the Fool wearing a virtual reality headset. You'll learn lots more about this in my forecasts for the month of February and for the Aquarius new moon, both of which are up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio and starting this week on Om Times TV at 5 p.m. Eastern on the first and third Monday of every month. This week, my guest is Beverly Biehl, no relation that we know of, talking to us about the Chinese Year of the Wood Dragon. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, including a lot of information about what's going on with Pluto and the early timetable for how we're going to be adapting to it. I also host a lot of conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group, the Astro-Insight Lounge. I post on Instagram and Threads at Ka Biehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.